to another episode of Trainly Installations. Today I'm reviewing this LGB Stainz locomotive. It is a more contemporary Stainz, so it was DCC ready to begin with. What I did is I went ahead and installed a Zimo MS450 series decoder, and you reutilize the original speaker that is mounted in the cab of the locomotive. So I'm going to go ahead and briefly go over the functions. To turn on and off the main operating sound, you press F8. And then of course the headlights are F0. And I've programmed it so that when you turn on the headlights, let me move it forward a little bit here so you can see that maybe, is that the cab light comes on automatically. The cab light stays on regardless of the direction of the locomotive. F1 is your bell. F2 is a short whistle. And then based off of the direction you're going, it'll have different tones. So I'll switch it back to forward, press the whistle again, release it, and it blows twice for going forward. F3 is the long version. And it works the same way, playing that twice for going forward and a single for going in reverse. F4 is the shunting key, and what this does is I have it set up so it turns on both the front and the rear headlights when the lights are on, and then it also changes the momentum and decreases the maximum speed that the locomotive will travel. F5 is the conductor whistle. F6 turns on or off the smoke, so we'll go ahead and turn that on. And it sometimes takes it a minute or two to heat up. You can use, there it goes. And it is literally just on and off. It is using a higher voltage smoke generator than the standard 5 volt in this case, because I am running it off of just basically direct track power, which for me, I have my system set at 20 volts. And then let's see, that's the smoke. And we have F7, which is activating a blower, or the sound of activating a blower inside the locomotive to heat up, to excite the flame and all that good stuff. F8, as I said, turns on and off the sounds. F9 increases the volume of the locomotive. And then F10 decreases that volume. And then we have what's referenced as the light load key. And this changes the sound project a little bit. So we'll move forward, so that it doesn't, so it sounds like it's just moving around without a whole lot of effort. It's hard to tell because basically the locomotive is running with a light load. You notice it's very quiet when I got it to move. That's kind of what it does, is it changes that sound project. And then F12 turns on the curve squeal. Move forward a little bit, as if the wheel flanges were rubbing against the track when it's going around the curve. F13, let's see what that does. Oh, that's your coupling sound. Uncoupling when we release the key. And then F14 I'll back it up a little bit here. Now it sounds like it's working harder because I turned off the light mode. And that's kind of your warning whistle, or like highway crossing whistle. And then, let's see, F15 is shoveling some coal into the fire, into the firebox. And F16 and 17 are different injectors, which is adding water into the boiler. Now the little Stainz locomotives were not very long distance locomotives, and they carried water on one side of the fuel bunker, and then the other side of the cab they carried their coal. And the coal would fall, they could open up a door into the cab of the locomotive and shovel the coal into the firebox. So let's see, F18 is a handbrake loosen, is what it says. That's as if you were, it's got all these automatic sounds playing, so it's hard to hear it. There it goes. F19. That's stoking the fire. And then F20. That's blowing steam out of the cylinders and so on, just to try to clear extra water. And then, let's see, F21. That's adding some water into the, some water into the fuel bunker there. And then F22 is as if you were sanding the tracks. And then finally F23 is blowing the steam, opening the valves in the bottom of the cylinders to try to clear excess water. But that sound will also automatically play after the locomotive has been sitting for a while, like that. Now if I start the locomotive again, it won't play that sound automatically. Well, that's just a basic definition of the sound project. It is designed specifically for the MS series decoders, meaning it's also a 16-bit sound project, and it's added quite a few sounds compared to the original sound project for the Stainz locomotive for the MX series decoder. Thank you for watching.